grand opening, grand closing. Welcome, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers. Your only friend, these YouTube streets, Porter Rock 77, back with another video talking all things gaming, commenting on gaming topics, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, Nintendo, all the good stuff that you're into. Let's talk about this. This is some strange thing, right? So right here, I'm showing a tweet from Marek Tymiński. He's the CEO of the studio that developed Lords of the Fallen. Came out 2 years ago, right? He's retweeting out Grums. If you're familiar, Grums is one of those grifters on the anti-woke, everything is woke, go woke, go broke, all that stuff, right? He's on that time, right? To grift and, to boost up his algorithm. Well, the CEO of an actual development studio that makes games, right? He fell in on that nonsense, right? Um, Grums recently posted recent Steam numbers of Assassin's Creed Shadows having like 15,000 players on Steam, and he compared it to Lords of the Fallen, which currently has 11,000 players on Steam, and it's been a 2 week difference, right? And the CEO requoted, like quote tweeted Grums, right? And threw some shade on, Assassin's Creed Shadows. And you see right here, he says Assassin's Creed Shadows probably had 10 to 15 times the budget of Lords, right? Of Lords, I guess 23. Keep that in mind when comparing, right? So he's throwing some shade at, Assassin's Creed Shadow, which I don't know why he would do that, especially when he followed up with this tweet. And this is really interesting. He said, and just to show you, you can see the Grums tweet. 2-year-old trip AA game, Lords of the Fallen breaks 10K players today. Freshly launched quadruple A game, Assassin's Creed Shadow, with hundreds of millions of dollars in marketing. And, that was the tweet I was talking about. And Marek goes, just great. And with recent mega surge in sales, I'm confident we'll break even sooner rather than later. He just admitted his game is a sales flop. It didn't even break even after 2 years on the market. He's hoping with the surge they can break even on the game, let alone actually generate profit. What is he doing? He's throwing shade at Assassin's Creed Shadow when his game is a failure in the sense of business metrics. Now, you might personally like the game, you might think it's awesome, but it is a bona fide sales flop that when after 2 years you haven't even broke even on the game. You see, the problem with Marek is he jumped on the anti-woke, anti-DI, all this bullshit brigade because he thinks he can get access to their money, not knowing they're not there. They're not doing this to buy games. They don't buy games like that. That's not really what they care about. They only care about the drama of what they consider woke games and trying to create vitriol, and hopefully they can do something in terms of sales or whatever. Like Grums, he's like, oh look, only 15,000 people. Never mind the fact that Matt Piscatella says Assassin's Creed already after 3 weeks is the number 2 best-selling game so far this year, and it's going to be the number 1 selling game on this coming MPD, right? But they just gonna try to use this information like they did something. That's all this anti-woke crowd is now. They just want to start drama and seem relevant, but you're not gonna make money off them. They're not gonna buy your game. It's not about buying games. Even if it is anti-woke, even if it's the perfect game that they absolutely want, they're still not gonna buy it. Half these guys are probably broke and have no money anyway. All they care about is the drama on the internet. That's it. So this Marek guy really relying on the wallets of these anti woke crowd when they're not there about buying games. They're there about just thrashing any game. And the margin to consider a game anti woke is like razor thin for them. Like anything. Black female character, woke. Mostly female characters, woke. Anything other than a white male, woke. Like anything. They will nitpick anything and call it woke. Even things that is not even racially, is not even based on a culture or whatever. They'll just call it woke because it's not on the platform. It's exclusive to PlayStation. Oh, woke. It's weird. They just want rage content and trash talking, but you're not gonna make money off of these guys. So I guess in this case, go anti woke, go broke. On another news I want to talk about, if you're familiar with a Twitter account, Detective Seeds, he's been talking about, eventually, he already knew behind the scenes that, here we go, Oblivion 4 was getting remaster, remake, or whatever. All right. And Bethesda officially announced it. And on tomorrow, they're most likely going to show gameplay reveal all the improvements and all that stuff. So he was right. He was right about um the Oblivion remake, and it's here and stuff, right? Everybody now still talking about, is it going to be exclusive to Xbox or what? Come on, we need to stop that. It's not going to be exclusive to Xbox. Just move on from that. Let's not recreate drama or nonsense just for the sake of drama and nonsense. It's over. Okay, it's going to be announced on every platform. That's modern platforms, right? I think the legitimate question, which I think is fair, is it going to be announced for Switch 2? Is there a Switch 2 version? That's fair. But don't ask if there's a PlayStation version. Yes, there's a PlayStation version. And yes, there's a PS5 Pro enhanced version. Okay? It's there. Let's not create drama and stuff that's unobvious. I think the only real question and fair question is this going to be on Switch? And that's Switch 2. And that's fair. That's obvious. Where is Switch 2 capable enough to handle this remaster remake? And maybe so, maybe not. Who knows? But I think that's a fair question. But let's not get into the whole, would this be announced in place? Of course it is. Let's just stop the nonsense on that one. Well, but I'm excited. I enjoy Oblivion. To me, this is the type of remakes I like. Games from like the PS3 era, right? Because there's many games that the PS3 360 just really couldn't do it justice. But at the time, they were great. But now with this modern hardware, oh man, some of those games are just gonna be amazing, right? And there's other games that from those eras I would love to see. Metal Gear Solid 4. Would love to see a remake on that one, or full fledged remaster. I mean, there's a razor thin line on what that means. But a remake or remaster of a PS4 game, whatever, But PS3 games, PS2 games, definitely, definitely. But especially PS3 games, PS3 360 games, they definitely, right? None of them are, very few of them are even 60 FPS, and there's huge improvement. So this is great. This is a great decision to remaster this game, right? And I'm looking forward to seeing the reveal tomorrow. And I think it's a fair question. Will this be on Switch 2? Now, do I care? No, because I would never play any third party game on Switch 2. That's a multi-plat or anything. Not happening. Not even close. That's just a waste of time, for me anyway, right? But for those of you that are primary Switch 2 players, and that's going to be your main platform or maybe your only platform to play on, you know, you get what you get, and hopefully maybe you might get this game. So that's a fair question, but we'll see tomorrow what if Switch 2 is part of the platforms that get this game. We'll see if they talk about PS5 Pro enhancements. Hopefully they do, or maybe they won't have time to do that. Maybe they'll just do the initial reveal, showings, whatever, and then later on they'll talk more about it. But the real question is, when does it get released? Detective C says he did hype a stealth drop, right? Do they announce that, when they announce this tomorrow, they also say, hey, available now? That would be insane. That the day they announce it, show the reveal, at the end of the show, they go, and you can buy it now, And I would imagine for the Game Pass gamers, it'll drop on Game Pass 2, which would be great for you Game Pass gamers. That's a big find. That's a huge thing for you guys, So pretty good. This is really good. This is a win for everybody. Um, we'll see if Switch 2 is part of that. Well, obviously, if this is announced for Switch 2, obviously you guys ain't gonna be able to play it tomorrow if it does get dropped tomorrow, right? You have to wait until the Switch 2 launch. But the fact that it might be there as part of the launch lineup, not bad for you Switch 2 gamers. So we'll see. Anyway, these two pieces of news is what I wanted to talk about today. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe, hit the like button. Check out my Saturday Night Live with Zubitech. It's a great interview with him. He was a special guest. You'll see the playlist on the screen. So hit any of the playlists to catch up to my podcast and to my videos, especially if you're new to the channel and stuff. And don't forget to hit the like button. See you tomorrow. 60 Frames No Like podcast, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. All right, and it's gonna be a great podcast, and we're just gonna talk about games, PlayStation, all that stuff, and come enjoy it with the crew. Right, we're looking forward to you being there, be part of the community. Membership is also available. If you choose to support the channel, and that will be truly appreciated for you if you become a member and become part of the 60 Frames No Like family. All right, see you guys soon. Enjoy the rest of the content. You guys take care. Peace.